What's up, YouTube? Today we're reviewing the 2022 Volvo XC90. Huge thank you to Jerry Howell over at Beyer Volvo Cars of Dulles, Virginia for allowing me to do this review for you guys today. If you're interested in this particular XC90 or any Volvo product, I'll have his information on screen as well as in the description box down below. But with that said, let's get into the video. First, let's talk about the exterior and performance. In this particular 2022 XC90 is the all-wheel drive Inscription, and this exterior paint color is called Pebble Gray. But if we look at the Pebble Gray in the direct sunlight, it kind of has like a champagne-ish hue to it. And you can obviously see that beautiful metallic flake. Volvo has some really nice paint options. And because this is a metallic paint, that is a $695 option. So Pebble Gray is a $695 paint option. But moving into the front grille, as you can see right here, you do have chrome grille bars that are going vertically across the grille, as well as this chrome grille surround around that. Looking at your Volvo emblem right here, you can see you have your forward-facing camera that goes along with your 360-degree view camera, which we'll get into when we talk about the different packages that this car has. But moving over to here into your headlights, you do have LED headlamps as well as LED daytime running lights, which also doubles as an LED turn signal, which is right here. Like I said, you do have LED headlamps, and your LED headlights come with your active high beam as well as active bending lights. So basically, if you're driving at night and you turn your steering wheel to the right, the lights will go to the right and illuminate the dark spot to your right. So basically, it makes it a little bit safer to drive at night, and it illuminates what you can't see. So if you're going around a turn and it's dark on the right side of the turn, but you have your steering wheel pointed to the right, those lights will go and point to the right, just so it gives you guys just a little bit better visibility at night, like I said. But moving back over here, like I said, LED daytime running light, LED turn signal, that is what that is. But you can see you have this little thing right here, and that is your headlight washer. So for 2022, Volvo actually got rid of your headlight washer as a standard feature. But this particular XC90 does have the $750 climate package, and the climate package also includes a heated steering wheel and heated rear seats, but that is now also included in the climate package. So if you guys want your high pressure headlight washer, you are going to have to get the climate package, which like I said is a $750 option. But moving down to here, you guys can see this chrome trim piece here on your bottom outer grille. And you also see that you got your forward-facing sensors here as well. But even beyond that, looking down here, you might be able to miss these if you're just standing up and looking at the vehicle. But you do have LED fog lamps down here, as well as obviously on this side as well. But very hidden. You can barely even see them if you're not paying attention. But you do have your forward-facing sensors down here as well, and on the side over here. But taking a step back and looking at the XC90, you guys can see that this does have the 21-inch multi-spoke wheels, and as you can see on the wheels, you do have a black barrel, but you do have like a machined aluminum and black painted wheel face, which I think looks very, very good. And these 21-inch wheels really set the XC90 off very, very nicely. I think it just makes the car just look that much better than it would be with 20-inch wheels. But you can also option 22-inch wheels if you guys are feeling up for that. But moving up to here, you guys can see you have your bright roof rails as well as your bright window trim right here. They don't call it chrome, they call it bright. So it is not like, it's not chrome, but it is like a matte chrome type thing. That's the best way that I could describe it. But it still looks very, very good. But like I said, you got that bright roof rail, bright window trim surround. And moving over to here, you do have chrome around your door handles, but you do have paint matched door handles right here as well. Moving into your mirror caps right here, your mirror caps are paint matched, and you do have an integrated turn signal in them as well. And moving to the bottom right here, you have your side view camera, which is a part of your 360-degree view camera, which is what I mentioned at the front. These mirrors are also heated, and they are power folding. But if you look in the mirror right here, you also have your blind spot monitor right there as well. Moving down to here, you guys can see you got that little chrome body cladding down there, and at the bottom of that you have your paint matched side skirts, which just looks very, very good. Moving to the rear, again, your 21-inch wheels right there. You guys can see your Volvo signature LED tail lamps back here, as well as your XC90 badge, Volvo badge right here. and your T6 all-wheel drive badge right there. As you guys can see, you have your rear window wiper right here as well. And there are a few ways that you can open up your rear liftgate. If you guys can see, you guys can push this little pad under the L right here and the rear liftgate will pop open. You guys can also open up your rear liftgate from your key fob as well by pushing that button. But if you guys have your key fob in your pocket and you got your hands full, all you guys got to do is put your foot under here and the rear liftgate will pop open just like that. And that opens up the trunk area. So obviously that seat is down, this seat is up. We can actually pull this seat back up right here. So that's about how much storage space you guys have with that third row seating up. But if you guys want a little bit more storage space and you're not having 2 passengers here in the rear, all you got to do is flip up this, fold that seat down just like that, flip this one up as well, headrest goes down, and you guys can just reveal that much more storage space back here in the trunk. You also do have this 12-volt outlet right here as well that you can use for a bike pump if you so desire. Moving over to here, you guys have these hooks that you could use for grocery bags if you so desire. You also have a little light right there as well. It is also on this side here as well, with a max capacity of 5 kilograms. So nothing heavier than 5 kilograms on these things right here. Scooting this forward and opening this up, you guys can see you have your spare tire right there, as well as your jack and all that kind of stuff. So if you guys get a flat, you guys know where to look for your spare tire. You also have a nice little cubby for storage right here, and a nice little cubby right here, but it does not go down like it does here on the passenger side. Closing that tailgate, you got those 2 different options to lock the vehicle and close the tailgate, or just close the tailgate. So we're just going to close the tailgate. As you can see, you have your rear view camera right here, and you also have your sensors here at the bottom of the rear bumper as well. But there are a couple other things that I wanted to mention here while we're at the rear of this vehicle before we move into performance. That is that if you look at the rear bumper right here, you guys can notice that there are no exhaust tips, and that is because Volvo no longer wants to celebrate CO2 emissions. They are moving towards electric vehicles, and that is why you no longer see exhaust tips on the XC90 or the XC60 for 2022. But as you can see, you have this chrome trim piece that goes across the whole rear bumper right here, and you have your 2 reflectors, both one here on the passenger side and one here on the driver's side. But let's do a 3/4 angle of the XC90 here before we move into performance. You guys can see that is a beautiful paint color. This paint color is growing on me while we're sitting here, and it changes kind of colors as the sun moves, and as you guys can see, there's a little bit of shade on the car, so it's kind of changing colors ish while we're sitting here filming this video. But as I said, let's move into performance. But one quick thing, guys, before we move into performance, if you guys are enjoying today's video so far, please give the video a big thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button. I'm really gunning for 10,000 subscribers, and I need your guys' support to hit that. So if you guys are enjoying the video, like I said, please give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and let's get into performance. Opening up the hood reveals that 2-liter super and turbocharged 4-cylinder that makes 316 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. All that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission to all 4 wheels. This is an all-wheel drive vehicle, like I said earlier in the video. And with all-wheel drive, you're able to do 0 to 60 in 6.1 seconds. Fuel economy is 19 miles per gallon city and 27 miles per gallon highway for 22 miles per gallon combined. And with those performance figures in mind, and this being an XC90, the max tow capacity of this XC90 is 5,000 pounds. And that goes across the board with all the XC90s. All XC90s max tow capacity is 5,000 pounds. And one thing I wanted to show you guys before we moved into the interior is just how vertically that this hood opens. As you guys can see, here's a little side profile. So if you guys are going to be working on your XC90, which is probably doubtful, it just makes it that much easier to work on it because you don't have to worry about the hood hitting your head or anything like that, because the hood goes very, very high up. But closing the hood, and let's move into the interior. Moving into the interior, easy way to tell if the vehicle's locked, the mirrors are folded in. But to open up the vehicle, all you got to do is have your key fob in your pocket, put your hand behind here, and the vehicle opens up. As you can see, both the mirrors are folding out just like that. But you can lock the vehicle from right here, and you can also lock and unlock the vehicle from back here as well. As you can see, mirrors are folding out just like that. The vehicle is unlocked. So moving into the interior here, as you guys can see, you do have the Harman Kardon sound system. This is like a dark gray brushed aluminum speaker surround, and it looks super, super premium. It reminds me of something straight off like a BMW. So, I mean, that is just super, super nice. And it looks super good on this interior, as you can see right in here. But before we move into that, let's talk about the door panel here. You got this beautiful leather here up top on the top of the door panel with that beautiful wood right here. This is real textured wood, and it feels super, super premium, like I said, with that beautiful aluminum trim piece that goes along the bottom of that piece of wood. Aluminum door handle right here. And as you can see right here, this door handle looks pretty complex. But yeah, really nice actuation to that door handle right there. But moving back up to here, you have 3 memory adjustment seat settings right here in this piano black. So those different buttons are in piano black. But moving down here, more piano black buttons right here, your unlock and lock button. And your window and mirror controls down here are also in that piano black. Looks very, very good. But right here, as you can see, to adjust the mirror, all you got to do is click the left side and you can start adjusting the left mirror. Click this button right here, R, and you can start adjusting that right mirror right there. You do have automatic up and down windows all around, so that's awesome. And you can also lock your passenger windows by pushing that button right there. You guys can hear it lock. But pushing that button again, you guys can hear them unlock and lock just like that. More of that beautiful charcoal leather right here. The interior color is charcoal. I didn't mention that, but I'm mentioning that now. Moving into here, you guys can see it's like kind of rubbery down at the bottom of the door handle right here. Beautiful, really nice padded leather. I'm sure you guys can see me pushing down on that leather. Tons and tons of padding, super, super comfortable, and just a very soft feeling premium leather. And you obviously can see the accent stitching right there at the bottom of this armrest right here. But moving down to the bottom of the door panel right here, you guys can see good amount of storage space down in there. You guys could set a big smart water bottle right here. And again, your speaker surround right here. This is for your Harman Kardon sound system. But moving into the interior, you guys can see you have your Volvo door sill down here. You got power adjustable driver and power adjustable passenger seat as well. Like I said, the interior color is charcoal with that beautiful soft leather here on the top, and you got your perforated leather down through the middle of the seat. This does have heated and ventilated front seats, so definitely super comfortable. You guys can see the padding here in that seat. The leather is just super, super soft and just very premium feeling, so definitely a very premium feeling vehicle. More of that wood trim right here, aluminum trim around that with that piano black HVAC vent right there. Stepping in, we'll take a look at the steering wheel, but let's fire her up. All you got to do is have your foot on the brake, key fob somewhere here in the interior, and twist this to the right. Vehicle will fire up, as you can see. And firing that vehicle up reveals your 12.3-inch digital driver display along with your 9-inch infotainment screen right here that does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto capabilities. So that's awesome. This vehicle also does have a Wi-Fi hotspot. Like I said, you got that Harman Kardon sound system right there, beautiful looking. But let's move into this beautiful digital dash right here. You got your beautiful digital speedometer here on the left side of the screen, along with your speed limit sign right there as well. Moving over to here, you have your digital RPM gauge right there. As you can see, you have your park, reverse, neutral, and drive, and you can also bring it all the way down, shift it over here to the left, and you can go into manual mode. As you can see, we are in first gear. Now I can shift it into second, and we can start from a stop in second gear. But let's throw her back into park. As you can see down here, you see your fuel range. You can see which side of the vehicle you should fuel up on. And as you can see right here, you guys can see that right arrow pointing to the right of that little gas thing right there. That tells you that your fuel filler is on the right side of the vehicle. So that's definitely just a nice little trick if you guys didn't know that. You guys can also see how much fuel you have left in the vehicle right there. As you can see, we do have a half a tank. You can also see the arrow right there on the side of that gas pump right there as well. But moving over to here, you have your trip monitor right there. You got your adaptive cruise control stuff at the bottom left hand side of your digital dash. Ambient exterior temperature right there, your lane keeping system right there, and the time is right there as well. If you guys want to lock the rear, all you got to do is push that, and it tells you that the vehicle rear windows are locked. And I believe that also locks the rear door handles as well. So not only does the rear child lock the windows, it also locks the doors as well. So just pushing that button again, it unlocks it. But moving over to here, another way you can open up that rear lift gate is by pushing this button right here, and it'll pop open. And you can decrease or increase the brightness of your digital display right over here. But moving over to the steering wheel, you got that charcoal black leather that goes around the steering wheel. It's very soft, just a nice feeling steering wheel, as you can see. Just beautiful, beautiful leather. Volvo emblem right here. This stuff controls either your volume on your radio, as you can see, and you can also skip between different radio stations by pushing this button here on the left. But let's go back to that other radio station. Pushing this button right here controls what's going on here in this center display. So you guys can go through different trip information, media, phone, navigation, stuff like that through that button right there. Obviously, you got your windshield wiper stock right here, and you have your headlight stock as well as your turn signal stock right here. You guys can see. You guys can turn on your fog lamps by pushing on that, turn on your fog lamps by pushing that. And you can also turn your headlights onto auto high beam, stuff like that. So you guys can have your headlight controls right here with this little dial, just like that. Now my auto high beams are on, auto high beams are off, stuff like that. Daytime running lights, headlights, auto high beam, and auto headlights. So, but to turn that off just like it was, all you gotta do is do that. If you guys want to reset your trip information right down here, all you gotta do is push on this button right there, and your trip meter will go down just like that. As you can see, it has been reset. But you do have an auto dimming rear view mirror right here with your universal garage door opener at the bottom of that. Pushing this button, you got your SOS, you have your on-call button. This right here will open up your rear shade right here, just like that. As you can see, it opens up the shade, and you can also open up the sunroof just like that. Pull down on that, and the sunroof closes. If you want your sunroof all the way open, all you gotta do is pull back on that just like that, and the sunroof will open. As you can see, you got that panoramic moonroof, but let's close that. Just like that. So this controls both your panoramic sunroof as well as your panoramic shade. So closing that shade just like that. These are all your light controls here for the interior of the vehicle, so you can turn that on just like that. This turns on the passenger light. By pushing this button, turns on all the lights in the interior, as you guys can see by that. Moving down to my 9-inch infotainment screen right here. Like I said, you do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto capabilities. So you can go through your different infotainment, scroll over here, you got your different radio information. You have your sound information right there, messages, car status, driver performance, stuff like that. So if you guys want to see what your miles per gallon is, you can do that. This vehicle is getting 15.9 miles per gallon because it hasn't really been driven all that much. If I go into this, it closes that. Go into my phone information, you can go through contacts, recents, keypad, so I can dial up a phone number just like that. But we'll go back to the other screen. Close that by doing that. Get your radio information right here, as well as you got a little compass right here. So this is your navigation information right at the top of the screen right here. But if you guys want to go into like driver settings and stuff like that, this basically tells you, by pushing this button, tells you kind of how to work the screen. So if you drag down from here, push settings, you can go into your different drive modes. So go into my car, go into your individual drive mode, and you can basically set a preset of how you want the car to be. So if you guys want it to be in eco mode, you can do that. If you want it in comfort mode, you can do that. Or if you want it in dynamic, which is basically sport mode, you can do that. But you can also go individually and select, you know, I want my driver display to be in dynamic. I want my steering force to be hard, so I want it to be sporty. You can have your powertrain characteristics. If you want eco mode, you can do that. Comfort mode or dynamic, you can do that. But one thing that I thought was really cool is that you can have your brake pedal be in normal mode, or you can have your brake pedal be here in dynamic mode. So basically either one. If you're doing more sporty driving, you have your brake pedal in dynamic, but let's leave it in normal because that's what it was. So scrolling back up to the top, we'll have it in comfort mode, basically to what it was. But you got all your different driver settings right here. You can go into your different displays, basically different information like this: mirrors, locking, parking brake, and suspension, stuff like that. You can also do your wiper stuff just like that. Climate settings, system settings, communication, these are all your different settings. So you can go into your sound and adjust that kind of stuff. You guys know basically what all that stuff does. Pushing this button right here, you can see that my ventilated seat is on. I can turn my ventilated seat on all the way. or all the way off. Got my heated seat right here, as well as my heated steering wheel over there. Obviously, passenger has that stuff as well. Ventilated seat, as well as your heated seat right there as well. Moving down here, this is for your hazard button. Obviously, this is the defroster. This is the rear defroster right here. This is to go back on a song. This button goes forward on a song. This is for your volume, for your radio, as you can see. And then you can also play or pause by pushing this button here in the middle. You might be able to see this little button right over here. You're like, hey, what the heck does that button do? This is for your glove box. Push that, glove box releases. And you actually have a pretty big size glove box in here. You guys can put your owner's manual here on top, or basically straws, napkins, whatever you want to put in here, you can do so. But closing that, again, more of that beautiful wood trim on the passenger side, and just a beautiful leather wrap dash with your Harman Kardon speaker right there in the middle. But let's pop open these and let's see if we have a light. Oh yes, we have a light both on the driver as well as on the passenger side as well. And you can see you guys can put business cards or registration, basically whatever you want to put right here. You guys can put like a little piece of paper. So yeah, that makes it just really nice. Obviously you can see you have these things right here. These are for your mics, so when you're talking on the Bluetooth phone, it picks up your voice just to make it sound that much more clear when on the phone with somebody. But let's throw this vehicle into reverse, and I want to show you guys a pretty cool feature that this particular vehicle does have. So you can see this is your rear view camera right here, but you're like, hey, I don't really care what's going on behind me. Push this 360-degree view, and now you have a 360-degree view right here. I want to say, hey, you know, I want to see what's going on here at the front of my vehicle, so I'm going to push that button right there. That is my forward-facing camera. I want to see what's going on the side of the vehicle. I can see what's going on the side of the vehicle right there. This side of the vehicle, you can do that as well. Going back to here, let's go back into my rear view camera. You guys can adjust the lines. Hey, I want the lines on. Hey, I want the lines off. You also have your cross traffic alert. So now my cross traffic alert is off, and now my cross traffic alert is on. You guys can see, you see it, it's like, it kind of like yellow right there. It's like, hey, you're close to something. You're not too close to it yet, but you're getting a little close for comfort. So that's what those things are doing. Those are your rear view sensors down there. So that's nice. Park assist, so if you don't want to hear those beeps, push that, and boom, no beeps. Push it again, and your beeps are back on. So I would recommend leaving the park assist feature on. But let's close that, and let's go over a few features that this vehicle does have that I have not mentioned yet. So like I said, when we were outside of the vehicle, this vehicle does have the climate control package for $750. Basically what you get with the climate control package, like I mentioned, you get those headlight washers as well as the heated rear seats, and you also get a heated steering wheel. So if you guys live in a colder climate, or a dirty climate where the roads are dirty and stuff like that, that's definitely a feature you might want to look into. This vehicle also does have the advanced package for $1,650, and what you get with that is the heads-up display right here. So you got a heads-up display. It tells you your speed, stuff like that. The camera's not going to pick it up, but you do have that heads-up display right there. You also get a 360-degree view camera, which is what I was talking about right there. And you also have an advanced air cleaner. So if the air is dirty on the outside of the vehicle, this vehicle will basically give you a better air quality here on the interior. And that goes for all zones of the vehicle, including those people out back in the rear. This vehicle, like I said, is the Volvo XC90 Inscription. And just a couple features I thought I'd highlight that you get with the Inscription. You get heated and ventilated front seats, as well as power front seats. You get that beautiful wood trim, which is what I was talking about here. You also get navigation system and 4-zone climate control. And you get sunshades on those rear doors. As you guys can see, those guys are activated right now. They are up. And those are obviously manually adjusting. This also has the $200 park assist feature, which basically helps you steer into a parallel spot, into a parallel parking spot, or a perpendicular parking spot. So if you guys are not too good at parallel parking or perpendicular parking, basically all you got to do is shift it into reverse, shift it into drive, and basically hold the brake, let go of the brake, and basically the vehicle will steer itself into the spot. And a couple safety features I thought I'd highlight before we moved into those rear seats. This vehicle does have blind spot monitoring with steer assist, as well as cross traffic alert with auto braking. This also has pilot assist with adaptive cruise control, as well as low and high speed collision mitigation. And it also has a few other safety features that I'm going to put on screen right now so that you guys can pause the screen and read through all the different safety features that this Volvo does have. Obviously, it's a Volvo, so it's got tons and tons of safety features, which I could be reading here all day, but I'm going to have that listed on screen for you guys to read right now. And a couple other things before we moved into those rear seats is that you do have a leather wrapped gear shift lever right here, and this gear shift actuation is just super nice. I'm definitely a big fan of it. You can definitely feel, hey, I'm in drive, boom, I'm in neutral, boom, I'm in reverse, boom, I'm in park. So I definitely really like the actuation of this gear shift lever. It feels super solid. It's just very notchy, so I'm definitely a huge fan of this gear shift. Sliding this forward, you got a 12-volt outlet right in here. You guys can plug in your Passport Max 360 radar detector if you guys are speeding, and you can hang that up there, plug that in just like that. Or you can set your phone down right here and onto your wireless charging pad and have your vehicle charge your phone while you're just driving down the street. So that's definitely really nice. Sliding this all the way back, and you have two more cup holders right here. So you guys can set your drinks or stuff like that. Or if your key fob is dead, you guys can set that right there, and it'll pick up on your key. As you can see, there's a little key emblem. I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to pick that up on camera, but it's right there. So key fob's dead, set it right in there and the vehicle will still start. But to start the vehicle, all you gotta do is twist this thing to the right. I just turned the vehicle off because the vehicle was already on, but same goes for starting and stopping the vehicle. All you got to do, twist it over to the right and the vehicle will fire up. As you can see right here, you have your electronic parking brake. By pulling up on that, now my electronic parking brake is engaged. To disengage it, I have to have my foot on the brake and push down just like that, and the parking brake will disengage. And this is your auto hold, so if you're stuck in traffic and you don't feel like putting your foot on the brake all the time and letting go and putting a foot on the brake, that's what that does. So basically it holds all four brakes, and to basically release all four brakes, all you gotta do is put your foot on the accelerator and it will release. So that's awesome. I really like the auto hold feature. But popping this open, you guys can see you got your two USB ports right here, as well as a little bit more storage space down in here. For basically whatever you want to set in there, you guys can do so. It's a little bit of storage space. It's not huge, but it definitely will get the job done. And it's also beautiful leather on top of that as well. But we've talked about the exterior, we've talked about the performance, and we've talked about what's going on up here in these two front seats. So now let's move into the second row, and we'll see what's going on here in the second row. So popping open this second row door, as you can see, basically the same beautiful features that you have on the front door panel. As you can see, you do have your sunshade right here, so you can keep that down if you want and let that sun in. Or if you're not feeling the sun, all you gotta do is set it right there and it'll block the sun for you. But let's move into this interior right here. You guys can see you have your 4-zone climate control system with your two heated rear seats right here, but let's keep those off because nobody's sitting back here. You can also turn up your HVAC stuff right there. Two different HVAC vents right here. Two seat back pockets, so you got one right here as well as one over here, and they are in mesh. So if you guys are trying to fit something that might slide through this mesh, that's just something to keep in mind. But same exact basically door handle here in the second row. Get your HVAC vent right here, as well as your HVAC vent over there. Moving up to here, you have your different LED light right here, as well as your LED light right up there as well. Grab handle right here to hang a suit. You can hang your suit right on that. Same exact thing goes for on that side. And like I said, you do have your sunshade right here as well. So that's awesome. But this second row seats is actually pretty comfortable. The front row is definitely the most comfortable. These seats are actually very comfortable. They may be in my top 3 most comfortable seats that I've sat in. So Volvo, good job on designing your seat comfort. Very comfortable. But let me move this backpack here out of the way. And you do have a center fold down armrest right here, as you can see. Push this button right here and it reveals 2 cup holders. So but you still have that nice center fold down armrest when you don't have cup holders. But I feel like the person here on the passenger side has a little bit more space to set their whole forearm, but nonetheless it's still very comfortable. But folding that back up and moving into the third row of seats, obviously I didn't even have to mention the legroom because there's just tons and tons of legroom. I'm 5'9" and I do not have to worry about legroom at all. But pulling this right here basically slides this seat forward and out of the way just like that. A little bit hard to do with just one hand, but let's move all this stuff back into the trunk, and we'll fold this seat up just like that, and boom. Now we are ready to sit in the third row of seats. So these third row seats are actually very, very comfortable. Definitely nothing to complain about. Comfortability wise, they're very, very comfortable. However, when it comes to knee room or leg room, you're definitely going to be restricted to how tall of the person can sit here in the third row. Obviously, these seats do slide forward, so you can make yourself comfortable here in the third row. But this third row is definitely for like shorter people. Or, you know, you can definitely make it work by sliding those seats a little bit forward. And then I have a little bit more leg room and a little bit more knee room. But moving back to here, got a nice little storage space right here for whatever you want to put in there. Got a cup holder right here, and basically the same exact thing here on this side as well. You have your HVAC vent right here. This is to warm up these windows right here, as well warm up those windows right there. Harman Kardon sound system right here, and you have these mics right here to pick up on the people in the third row. So if you're on a phone call, the people in the third row also have a voice to speak on that call as well. As you can see right here, you do have your LED lights. So you got lights here in the third row for your third row passengers. And yeah, these seats are actually very, very comfortable, surprisingly. Like I said, I'm 5'9", so headroom, not really an issue. However, if I was like 5'11", maybe 6 foot, that's when it's gonna start getting tight. So definitely shorter people are gonna have to be sitting here in the third row. Or if you're just going on an hour drive, taller people can fit back here, but they're definitely not gonna be super, super happy sitting in the third row. But obviously, airbags everywhere. This is a Volvo. Let's be honest, Volvo is one of the most safe car brands that there is. So yeah, we've talked about the performance, we've talked about the exterior, and now we've talked about the interior. So I want to see what this thing's like to drive. So I will see you guys in the driver's seat. And now onto the driving portion of the review. And man, this thing drives very, very nicely, man. It is so composed, super, super quiet. I'm not sure if you guys are gonna be able to tell, but listen. 50 miles an hour. We're super well insulated from what's going on out around us, man. And I'm just a big fan of the way that this thing drives. We go over bumps and stuff, you can barely even feel the bumps. This suspension is super, super nice. The powertrain, power delivery is fantastic. Definitely nothing to complain about when it comes to power delivery. It's a silky smooth motor, transmission, and I'm just definitely a big fan of the way that this thing drives. But man, like I said, when we go over bumps, this thing, you can barely even feel the bumps, if at all. Like, yes, there are some bumps that really jar the car around, but for the most part, you can barely feel the bumps. It's like the total opposite of a Jeep Wrangler. I just saw a Jeep Wrangler pull up, so I thought I'd throw some shade at them. But anyway, we're gonna go over these bumps right here from this bridge, and we'll see how they feel. Like I said, yes, you might be able to hear them a little bit, but man, this thing just rides super, super smooth. It's probably one of the smoothest riding vehicles I think that I've driven to date. And that's something to say because I've driven quite a few cars, but very, very smooth. Definitely a fan of the way this thing drives, the way that this thing handles. It's just a super nice vehicle. One thing that I haven't gone over yet, and we're gonna switch lanes here. As you can see, you got your blind spot monitoring right at the upper left-hand corner of that mirror right there. And a few things that I wanted to mention here while we're coming to a stop, and that is that the MSRP of this particular XC90 all-wheel drive Inscription, and I'll put the window sticker up here on screen right now so you guys can read it along with me. The MSRP of this particular XC90 is $69,090. And a couple things that I wanted to mention, and I know it's got to do somewhat with price, but if you put somebody who didn't really know anything about cars, and you covered up this badge right here, you know, and you put somebody in the driver's seat of this vehicle, I feel like they would be like, hey, you know, am I in a BMW? Because this is very reminiscent of a BMW to me, especially with the Harman Kardon sound system, just this beautiful dash layout, just the super premium feeling leather here up top, super premium feeling leather here down below. So yes, it very reminiscent of a BMW, especially when it comes to like the door panels right here with the Harman Kardon sound system, the beautiful wood trim, all the aluminum. Just very, very reminiscent of a BMW. Again, that's in my personal opinion. Obviously, some people might disagree, be like, oh yeah, this is a Volvo, this isn't a BMW. No, it's my personal opinion that I think that this thing looks like a BMW. However, you know, sometimes when you get in BMWs and stuff like that and you sit in the seats are pretty firm, and they're not the most comfortable seats in the world, and that's where this thing's a little bit different than a BMW. The seats that are in this particular XC90 are some of the most comfortable seats that I've sat in. Again, we talked about that when I was talking about the interior portion of the review, but especially up here in the driver and the passenger seats, again, these are some of the most comfortable seats, definitely top 3 most comfortable seats that I've sat in. Again, the leather is just super soft. It feels very premium. You got those ventilated seats, you got the heated seats, you got that heated steering wheel. I'm not sure if the camera's going to pick it up, but right now I can see my heads-up display. It gives me I'm going 45 miles an hour, and then it also gives me that we are in a 45 mile per hour zone. But looking at this speedometer right here, as you can see, that little red arrow or like kind of line, that's basically telling you, hey, you know, the speed limit's 45 miles an hour, and that white line is the speed you're going. And obviously you can see we're going a few miles an hour over the speed limit, but we're going to come here to this stoplight, and we are going to do a quick U-turn. But another thing that I wanted to mention here on the XC90 is this XC90, like I said, has that lane centering system. And when you're in the lane, a lot of lane centering systems are a little bit annoying, and they kind of like really push you back into the lane, and it gets to the point where it bounces kind of back and forth, where it's throwing you to one side, throwing you to another side. That is not the case with this XC90. And when you start drifting out of the lane, it kind of just like slightly nudges you back into the lane, which is really nice. It's not obnoxious, and it doesn't like kind of rip your hand out of the steering wheel like I felt in some other vehicles with a lane keeping system. Like I said, some other vehicles will really like kind of rip you back into the lane. It almost feels like unsafe, and it feels like you're fighting with the steering wheel. But like I said, that is not the case with this. Obviously, I haven't driven it for that long, and you can see it was just telling me, hey, you know, you want to stay within your lane. But see, it steers you just ever so slightly back into your lane. Obviously, I let off the steering wheel, so it really kind of threw us over. But when you're just driving and you are veering off into the lane, like I was trying to do right there, it just nudges you back into the lane, and it does it ever so slightly, so it's not like obnoxious. It doesn't feel unsafe, and it doesn't feel like it's kind of ripping you wherever it wants you to go. So that's definitely nice. You got a little Supra right there. Is that a Supra? No, but yeah. And the way that it goes around turns, I read online that these things have like quite a bit of body roll when you go around turns. I have definitely not felt that by going around turns and stuff. It feels very planted, and I haven't really felt it being top heavy or anything like from what I've read online. So yeah, if you guys are worried about this thing being like top heavy or body rolling, it does not really body roll at all. Very well planted onto the road, and like I said, we're going over these bumps, and it just rides very nicely. Again, you can hear the turn signal right there. Nice, just quiet turn signal. I know that's kind of funny I'm mentioning the turn signal, but listen to it. Just a nice little sound to it. Just my personal opinion. Coming here to the stop, we'll let traffic go. But yeah, definitely look at that beautiful Harman Kardon sound system with that beautiful surround right there. Again, I think that's really what's making me feel like this is like a BMW. But again, also the dash reminds me of a BMW. It's very elegant, you know. I'm definitely a big fan of it. Huge fan of the way that this thing rides. Huge fan of the insulation that this vehicle does have from the outside. Sound system, that Harman Kardon sound system sounds fantastic. I really want to test out the Bowers & Wilkins sound system in Volvos, because apparently I've heard that those are some of the best in the industry, period. So I definitely want to get into a Volvo with a Bowers & Wilkins sound system. But if you guys don't really want to spring for the Bowers & Wilkins sound system, I believe it's like $3,000 or $4,000. This Harman Kardon sound system sounds fantastic. Definitely big fan of the Harman Kardon sound system, and those bumps right there really jolt other cars around. And like I said, this thing just rides super well. Power is fantastic. Definitely got a good 0 to 60 time, 6.1 seconds from 0 to 60. So that is definitely not slow, especially for a vehicle like this. But I'm gonna do a U-turn here. We're gonna go to our little private Mexico track, and we are gonna do a quick 0 to 60 time. And I just want to show you guys just how quick this vehicle is. We're going to put it into dynamic on the powertrain mode right here. And when we get into our specific spot, I'll show you guys what I'm talking about, but I will see you guys in Mexico. All right, guys, we have made the drive into Mexico. So let's go into my car, individual drive modes right here. And let's go into dynamic. So now this puts everything into dynamic. We got dynamic steering, and basically it should put everything into the sportiest mode that this vehicle can get into. So we're gonna line her up here real quick and do a quick 0 to 60. No brake boosting on this 0 to 60. So it's just a 0, and I'm gonna punch the throttle. So here we go. We're pulling up to our spot, and here we go in 3, 2, 1, floor. $60. So definitely not the fastest thing in the world. However, you know, for a daily driver and for somebody who's not really interested in like a performance SUV, that was fantastic. 6.1 seconds, 0 to 60, nothing to scoff about. But yeah, that's gonna conclude today's video, guys. If you guys enjoyed today's video, if you guys learned something, if you guys are interested in one of these Volvos, please give this video a big thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button. I'm really gunning for 10,000 subscribers, and I cannot do that without your guys' support. So if you guys did enjoy today's video, please, like I said, give it a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next review. Peace.